Minecraft can be quite troublesome. In the recent updates, there have been a lot of strong mobs added, which you should be aware of. We focused on the actual difficulty of beating the mobs when you encounter them in a 1 vs 1 fight. Here are our top 10 picks for the strongest Minecraft mobs. Coming first on our list is the Iron Golem, a friendly protector of the village who you wouldn't want to anger. The Iron Golem is a large, strong, and neutral utility mob that defends players and villagers. It is one of the few mobs that the player can create with blocks. Although they might seem harmless at first, that doesn't mean that you should underestimate them. They're built like a tank and can one-shot you if you aren't wearing any armor. Even with full iron armor, you won't have much room to breathe when fighting this mob, as they deal a tremendous amount of damage and their attack range is so large that they can even attack you through a solid 1 block thick wall. Iron Golems can be easily defeated by building 3 blocks up and hitting them to death, but you have to be careful with your block placement as they can reach far. Vindicators are a strong breed of hostile villager lookalikes who fall under the illager mob category. They can be found in woodland mansions, village raids, and on patrols. They are quite tanky since they usually take at least 3 diamond sword hits, and they're very strong themselves as they can kill you in a couple of hits and can also disable shields with their axe, which can end up being fatal. Traveling in the Nether can be quite rewarding if you end up finding a Bastion remnant, but don't rush for your goal just yet, as you have to be aware of the Piglin Brutes, a hostile and stronger variant of piglins. These guys will attack you no matter what and are extremely strong. Unlike normal piglins, you can't fool or bribe them with gold, which can potentially end up being fatal for the unknowing. Having more than twice the amount of health points and also more unarmed attack damage than a Vindicator can lead us to the conclusion that they are basically just a stronger version of them, making them one of the biggest damage dealers in the game. Evokers are a spellcasting type of illager which can only be found in woodland mansions or raids and are the only source of the Totem of Undying, an uncommon combat item that can save the holder from death. Being spellcasting illagers means that they have a number of interesting spells in their arsenal, but their most annoying one is their Vex summoning spell. Vexes are tiny flying hostile mobs which are summoned in a small group of 3 and do a lot of damage while also simultaneously being hard to hit given their small build and their ability to travel through blocks. They may not be the strongest mob, but they sure are one of the most annoying ones and can get you into serious trouble when you have to fight multiple mobs at once. Elder Guardians are the largest and strongest aquatic mobs you can encounter. They can be found in ocean monuments protected by their smaller and weaker variants called Guardians. Fighting them can be a challenge since they apply mining fatigue, which reduces your mining and attack speed. They are quite tanky, but if you are adequately prepared, they should not pose much of a challenge as long as you focus on your oxygen. Be sure to bring a helmet with a respiration enchantment or a water breathing potion and a lot of doors which can make it easy to take a break. Inside the ocean monument is a hidden place with a decent amount of gold. If you don't want to fight the Elder Guardian and still get the loot while avoiding getting mining fatigue, here is what you should do. Before you get to the temple, turn down your render distance and mine exactly here to get your gold. Ravagers are rhino-like illager creatures that spawn at high-level village raids. They are extremely tanky, having the same amount of health points as Iron Golems and damage similar to that of Vindicators. They can also ram you, which will knock you back 5 blocks, so you have to be careful as to where you are fighting them. We also wanted to include Charged Creepers, which are one of the most powerful mobs in the game in terms of raw damage, being able to deal 127.5 damage upon explosion on hard mode. We didn't feel like they belong on the list since the chances of encountering one are extremely rare as they only appear when lightning hits a normal creeper, but we still wish to let you know. You can recognize them by the lightning aura which encompasses them. Charged creepers are twice as tanky and twice as strong as regular creepers. To put that into perspective, their explosion is 1.5 times stronger than a TNT explosion, so make sure you stay close to cats. The Ender Dragon is the unofficial final boss of Minecraft. She is quite tanky, having a whopping 200 health points, but that is not what makes her hard to kill. but the fact that she can heal from the nearby end crystals which sit on top of obsidian towers. To be able to kill her, you will first have to shoot down all of the end crystals from the towers. She doesn't do much damage unless you stand in her breath, which will end up killing you pretty quickly. Her most lethal attack is her knockback. If she hits you with it directly, you will be sent flying very high, so be prepared to save yourself with a bucket of water. You can fight her directly in the middle of the map, where the bedrock is. She sits there every once in a while, but you have to get there first, since she will knock you away if you try to get there after her. There is a different strategy that speedrunners usually use that involves getting beds to damage her. I know, weird. Using beds at her nest deals explosive damage, and you can take her down with just a few of them with the correct technique. You won't even have to destroy the end crystals with this method, but it takes a bit of practice to get the hang of it. Of course, the boss of the Nether is going to appear on the list. The Wither is incredibly tanky, strong, and very hostile, since it will attack any creature it sees. After spawning him, make sure not to stand too close, as his initial explosion after being spawned is very lethal. Once the fight begins, we recommend using an enchanted bow, since it usually flies around and you won't be able to reach it. Once you get it to half HP, the second phase begins. This one is easier since it stays on the ground, but now arrows won't work anymore. It also has an annoying ability which makes it hard for the player to see their remaining HP, which can make you greatly underestimate the direness of the situation. If you want to easily kill the Wither and get the Nether Star, here's a tip on how to do it. Under the bedrock of a beaten Ender Dragon, you can mine a hole and place obsidian just like I did and spawn the Wither. Make sure to get away from the initial explosion, and after that it is all yours. Keep in mind that it can still get through the blocks if you use something that has a big knockback, so watch out. The Warden is an up and coming new mob which is already available in the snapshot of 1.19.1. It is by far the scariest and strongest monster to be released in Minecraft to date. For context, the Warden is 5 times as tanky as an Iron Golem and does around twice the amount of damage. That means that he can 2-shot you even if you are wearing full netherite armor. Make sure not to mess with this mob unprepared, as it won't be a cakewalk. Luckily, it is completely blind and thus can only rely on the vibrations and its sense of smell to identify the player and other mobs. Note that it can also just be avoided entirely, as it is only summoned when you make noise around the Skulk Shrieker, so be wary when you encounter them. If you hear this sound, make sure to hide, but be aware that just running away may not be enough, since it can also charge at you with incredible speed. So guys, that concludes our list. Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments below. Have a great day and thank you for watching.